Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves UGB here on FlossTube, but also over on Instagram and Etsy as well. This is the Sunday morning briefing. This is the first Sunday morning briefing of 2022. So welcome along. It seems like such a long time since I've seen you. I did take a week off last week after doing Flossmas. Nothing to do with Flossmas. I just felt absolutely like I wanted to hibernate. And that was more to do with the fact that the autumn term was so long and there were days when I didn't think that we were actually going to get to the end of it. And I just had as quiet a Christmas as I could actually manage. I think I got to 2 or 3 days after Christmas and I was suddenly like, I haven't actually said Happy Christmas to a few of my very good friends. So I just completely went into hibernation mode. And yeah, it's done me some good. I've got a lot of stitching to show you. I've got some freebies, I've got some haul, because I shouldn't be allowed to have any kind of bank account over Christmas. I'd like to say that they were Christmas presents. In fact, 2 or 3 are, but the rest, that's down to me. I'm gonna have to wear my big girl pants for that. That's down to me. Although I have made some decisions, like we do at this time of year. I am going to try not to buy any more charts until the end of March. So sorry to the cross stitch industry. I'm not going to be quite propping you up as much as I was last year. So yeah, I'm going to try and not buy any new charts till the end of March, because if I buy new charts, then I want to kit them up, then I want to start stitching them, and I'm just ending up with too many whips. Not that I care, it doesn't bother me to have too many whips, but there's so many things that I actually want to work on that I've got to put a stop and say, right, no. I'm not saying I'm not going to start anything. I probably will end up starting things, but I'm just going to sort of stop that flow of new charts coming in. Fingers crossed. Unless there's a unicorn. Unless there's an absolute... And I don't know what that unicorn is. But yeah, that's the plan anyway. And whilst I've got a lot of haul to show you, I haven't bought anything since the beginning of this year. So yeah, since the beginning of this year. I've got 2 exceptions to that rule. One is the stitch along that I'm doing, which is the country cottage samplings. Have I said that right? You'll see it in a minute. And I've got those on sort of like auto ship. And the other one is a website called Panochka, or they're on Etsy, should I say. They've started doing a monthly bird, and I absolutely love their birds. So this is the first one. This is January, and I really want to finish them just like that into a little oval, and I'm going to do a pin border like I've done before. So before I get into everything that I've got to show you, I've got just a couple of cards that I want to share that came through. I had a lovely card from Staci, who's the 911 stitcher, and this one came through from Anna, who lives in the Netherlands. And then I had a lovely card from Carolyn Manning from Fox and Rabbit Designs, and inside it was a little postcard which has got a little, I probably shouldn't show that too much, a little freebie design on there, and it's also got a recipe for her Nana's chocolate chip cookies, chocolate chip biscuits. So I definitely want to have a go at those because they sound pretty special. And then this one came as well from Melinda from, oh, I can never say this, Lagniappy Designs. I'll put it along the bottom so that you can see how it's spelt. And if you remember, she sent me the M Mountain Bristol sampler, which you can also get from her, which is an amazing Bristol sampler. So those came in, which I was very pleased about. What next? What should we do next? Let's just do stitching, shall we? Because I don't think I can be starting anything in a different order. Let's just do stitching. So up until Christmas, let me just find the little board. There we go. Up until Christmas, the one that kind of really held my my interest was the one from Caterpillar Cross Stitch called Deck the Halls, and I managed to get quite a little bit done. I was actually kind of thinking, oh, I wonder if I can get this finished, but something else happened, a squirrel happened along the way. So I've kind of worked my way down to the bottom, so I know where the bottom is now, and I know where the sides are, because this was a much bigger fabric piece that I wanted to get cut and then get the edges done while I was with Mum. And yeah, I really enjoyed stitching on this. It was just nice stitching. You weren't changing colour all the time, but it was nice and bright and colourful, nice and Christmassy. You could pick it up and do a couple of letters, put it back down again. So yeah, really pleased with that. It's on a piece of 32 count vintage blue by Zweigart. So it's the same kind of idea as the vintage country mocha. It does have a kind of a blue print to it if you've not seen it before. It is much more obviously blue in real life. The camera's blowing it out a little bit, but yes, I shall put that away for a bit now. I would like to get it finished before next Christmas, but I'll put it away for a little bit. And then I got a little bit of startitis. Well, actually, no, I had to finish. I finished my Mill Hill Santa that I'd been working on, and I've left it on my desk at school. It's in the pouch that it was in with all of the other Mill Hills that I've got to start this year for my monthly Orny sale. If you remember, I was going to do 6 Mill Hills and 6 of the Christmas cryptids. And so I took the little pouch to school to start the next Santa face, which I have done, and I've left them both on my desk. So I'll have to show you my Mill Hill finish next week. Right, let me just grab the charts for these. So yeah, my little bit of startitis. I knew I was going to start a few things over Christmas and New Year, because that's what Christmas and New Year is all about. Let's have a look. So the first one I started, and I've been wanting to start this for a really long time. Actually, all the time that Anita was stitching it, I was ogling it, the wrong ooh word, ogling it on her updates on Instagram. I was like, have you finished that yet? Have you finished that yet? And it was this one, which is Caroline Scott. There's a little random bit of floss there. Caroline Scott by the Northumberland Sampler House, and I just love this one. And so I've started it on a piece of 32 count because I wanted it to be really nice and bright and colourful, that I hand dyed, so I can't tell you really what colour it is. It's just a good kind of good neutral. So, and that's where I've got to. So I've got the house done. Now the reason I started in the middle is because the border is quite complicated. It's got quite a complicated border, and I wasn't in the mood for a complicated border. I was in the mood for building a house brick by brick. So I decided to start in the middle. And yeah, another brilliant stitch. Relatively few colours. When you've got a colour on your needle, you've got it on there for a little while, so you're not constantly doing 2 or 3 stitches, switching 2 or 3 stitches and switching again. And this is just the DMC. And that's about true for the colour of the fabric. It's just a good neutral. So I'm looking forward to spending more time on her. And then on Christmas Day, I started my Christmas present from Chris, the one that I'd ordered. Told him which one I wanted and ordered it. And it was this one, Forgery number 7, which is Sarah Davis 1841 by Amy Mitten. And it has got all the floss and the fabric that came with it. And the reason I liked this one is because it is a cardigan sampler. And somebody in the comments last time asked me what a cardigan sampler is. It's literally just a sampler from Cardigan, which is where I live. And it comes with all the silk floss. And you use it one strand. Even on 32 count, you use it 1 strand. Now I was a little bit dubious, I have to say, about 32 count and 1 strand. But it's really lovely, you get really nice coverage. So this is where I am. I've just started just in the top right hand corner, and it is a lovely kind of orange, not orangey, yellowy fabric, and the colours are quite autumny, quite lots of browns, blues, greens, and that's the coverage on 32 count just using one strand, which I'm really pleased, as I said, because I bought 2 other floss packs for Hands Across the Sea charts from her, which are the same floss. So I usually like to work a good bit of the border first of all, but the border is quite simple. It's just lots and lots of little squares. So I decided to start making my way across the row at the top, which has got all the plants and the flowers in it. And there's the next thing to come up is a big fruit bowl. So I'm enjoying working on that one. And then I decided to start a temperature sampler. Now, I really wanted to start a temperature sampler last year, and I'd chosen the Stitching Mommy temperature typography one, but I'd left it a bit too late and I couldn't find the information that I wanted to backtrack. So this is the one that I'm doing. Now you have to excuse me, I have kind of folded up my chart a little bit, and this is a download from Etsy, so I'll put the links down below. And I've done it into a sulky conversion, and I put my sulky conversion on Instagram. That took longer to think about. I put my sulky conversion onto Instagram. I got this for Christmas. This was one of my Secret Santa gifts. I don't know if I told you, we have a bit of a crazy Secret Santa at work. And on the last day I got a Jewels tin which had lots of hand creams and stuff in it. And I was as excited about the tin as I was about the hand creams. So yeah, I'm just kind of keeping everything folded up in there, easy to hand. And this is where I am so far. So I've just done the first few days. So we started off really warm on January the 1st. It was something ridiculous, like 14 degrees or something. And then it's got a little bit colder since. I'm doing the maximum daily temperatures, which I'm quite happy with. So, and it's just on a little piece of 36 count fabric that I hand dyed. And I know I'm cutting it close to the edge here, but I'm only going to make it into a little pillow or a little frame or something like that. I'm not going to do too much more with it when it's finished. And then the big day came. So the day to start the stitch along that we've all been looking forward to stitching. I don't know why my dog's barking. Elizabeth Isles by The Scarlet Letter for Laura's big birthday sale. So happy birthday to Laura. I did send you a message on the day. This is my first official opportunity to wish you a very happy birthday. And I've seen so many of these stitched or starting to be stitched. It's really exciting. Now I had to have a last minute change of fabric because for some reason I just thought it was smaller than it was. I hadn't looked at the stitch count, I hadn't bothered to do any calculations whatsoever until the day I sort of came to stitch it, and I was like, oh, that's bigger than I thought it was. And so yes, I had to change. So it is 224 by 270, so I'm doing mine on 36 count. And I had gone for a lighter fabric like that. In fact, I think it was actually the piece that I'm doing the temperature typography on, which wasn't as small as it looked. It is a double-sized bit, but that wasn't big enough. So I have started it on a piece of Heritage Sampler that I got from Victoria Motto when I was in their monthly club, and I'm pretty pleased with the way it's coming along. I've got my bird outlined. Now this fabric is a little bit more green than it's showing. It's looking about there probably. It's showing quite brown, but it is got a good background of green in it. So I've done the top border, and then some of the way I've done the second layer of the top border, and then in certain places I've done the third layer. Well, I say in certain places, about an inch there, but I'm claiming it. I wanted to get onto the bird. Now, I'm using the called for DMC except for one thing. The called for DMC, let me get the chart back out, has 2 pinks in it. And those pinks are, the lighter one is 224 and the darker one is 223. So those 2 there. But one of the things that drew me to the chart was the darkest pink. Now the darkest pink is actually the darker one of the 2 that I've just showed you. But when you stitch it, that there is the darkest pink. And I wanted something just a little bit brighter. So in some places, I'm actually going to use 3 pinks. I'm going to use those 2 pinks. And in some places, I'm also going to use this pink as well. So I've put in a brighter pink, and that is $33.50, so $33.50. But this is an old skein. It's got old written on the back, and I compared it to a new one I've got, and this is slightly more of a brown tone. It's got a very slight more brown than the newer 3350s that I've got. Hence why I thought it sat quite nicely with those, which are more muted pinks anyway, with kind of a bit more of blue in them, so blue-brown. It goes, don't worry, it goes. So yeah, I'm going to be adding that extra pink in and just using it where on the chart it looks a little bit pinker in the picture. I'm very pleased with how she's coming along. Let's see if I can get a good shot of the fabric. Yeah, probably about there. And then the other thing that I've spent quite a lot of time stitching on, and I was really hoping this was going to be a finish, is my stitch along from Cottage Garden Samplings. Now, I can't remember what I called them in the beginning because I can never remember their name, or I always get it twisted with somebody else. So this is the first one. This is the fox. Now I'm sure you've seen this everywhere. There we go. I'm sure I've seen this everywhere. And the next one is swans. So this is called A Year in the Woods, and the next one is swans, which has already come out, or the pictures of it have come out, and it looks amazing. It looks amazing. So I've very nearly got this finished, but I have had to order another skein of the Chalky by Gentle Art because I've run out. So on the back of the chart it said that you would need 1 skein of the chalk if you were doing on 40 count, 1/2, 1 skein if you were doing it 1/2 on 36 count, and then you'd need 2/2 if you're doing it on 32 count. Sorry, you'd need 2 skeins if you're doing it 2/2 on 32 count. I found I've needed 2 skeins doing it 2/2 on 36 count as well. So no great surprise, no great problem, but there is my fox. Now this fabric always shows up as a bit more grey, but it is quite blue, and I just think he's absolutely majestic. I love him. So I've got another dark tree to put in here and another light tree, which I could have done today, but when I'd ordered the floss only yesterday, and I thought, well, it might come today, it might not, and it didn't, so I thought, oh, I won't push it and try and get everything done because I can't completely finish it anyway. And I can't wait to put the swans next to it. So this is my long thin piece, so the swans will go next to him, and then the very last piece, sorry, I've just stuck a needle in my finger, the very last piece goes there. So once next month is over, you won't see this particular one again until December again next year. And I'm going to do a little competition. So in the show notes down below, I'm going to put a link to a Google form. And what I'm going to get you to do is to, here and now, try and see if you can guess what the next, or what the rest of the charts are going to be. So we already know the fox, we already know the swans. I want you to see if you can guess what the other 10 are going to be. So you just have to access the Google form, go on, put the animal that you think is going to be in each of the next instalments. And then when we get to December, what I'll do is I'll look back and I'll see who was the closest. And the prize for the closest will be a piece of hand-dyed fabric. I'll dye you a piece of fabric, a fat quarter, whatever colour and count you want. I'll have a go. I say whatever colour. You can choose whatever count you want. I'll get you whatever count you want, and you can give me an idea of what sort of colour you want. Whether you want a neutral piece, whether you want blues, greens, whatever. I'll try and dye what you want. So go on to the I can't even remember them now, Cottage Garden Samplings Instagram. You'll find a picture with a little tiny sneak peek of each of the remaining ones. So we're not counting the fox and we're not counting the swan because that would be too easy. Have a look, see what animals you think are remaining, fill out the Google form, and then next December, when we know what they all are, we'll see who guessed the right, or as many right ones as possible. But I do love that. I can't wait. I really can't wait to keep up with this one. I know everybody says that in January, but I really want to. It's beautiful. Right, that is all my stitching that I've been doing, which I'm quite happy with. I've got another 2 giveaways, actually. I've got 2 more giveaways, and I've got the usual freebie, which I'm going to do now. If you remember, before Christmas, the lovely Alice sent me a big stack of charts, ones to go through and ones to give away. So I've got 2 that I'm going to give away here. You can be in the UK for these ones, please, because I'm going to have to put them in an envelope, an A4 envelope to send to them. So yeah, if you can be in the UK for these ones, over 18, so I can have your address, don't say freebie, giveaway, all the normal jazz, it doesn't change. And let's see which 2 I've picked out. So I've picked out this one by Sue Hillis Designs, which is called My Favourite Things, which is a Christmassy one, but slightly different colourways to what you might be familiar with. And you can either stitch it as one big piece, or you can see that there's an idea there for pulling out some of the motifs and making them into Christmas ornaments. So if you want to have a go for this one, let's go for the word stocking, because you've got the stocking right in the middle there. So let's go for stocking. And the other one that I picked out is also a Christmassy one, and it says, it's by Plum Street Samplers, and it says, "Come to my table and share with me warm gingerbread cookies and cranberry tea." So if you want to have a go for this one, go for cranberry. So stocking for this one, cranberry for this one. And as I said, if you can be in the UK for those, you can be wherever wherever you are for the chance to have a go on the Google form for the fabric, but just in the UK for those two. And the freebie is an owl forest embroidery one, and it's this pumpkin sampler. Now I like it as it is, but it's got lots and lots of great motifs in there to pull out for little ornaments, for drums. You've got two lovely drums there, that would work out really well. You could do all sorts of different things with this. You could just take the top half and make it into a needle book, whatever you wanted. So this is by Owl Forest Embroidery. It's called Pumpkin Colour Autumn. I move my little fingers out of the way. It's called Pumpkin Colour Autumn, and I will put the link for it down below. So if you'd like to get that for yourself, then you can just go and grab it. Right. Now, haul. I've got some haul. I have got some haul. I'm going to start off with a new acquisition. Now, you'll have to forgive the state of her at the moment, because this is how she came to me, on a piece of corrugated cardboard having been cut out of a frame. But I loved her. This is Sophia Stafford, September the 20th, 1839. And as you can see, she literally was cut out of the frame. You can see where she's been stretched, and there's some holes that got rusty imprints around them. And the top says, Lord Jesus, help me now to flee, and fix my hopes alone on thee. Apply thy blood, thy spirit give, subdue my sin, and in me live. But it's all about that house. It's all about that house. And such a lovely border. There's really very few colours in it, so things that you might not be able to see too well. There's obviously the heart, and there's two birds either side. There's two baskets of flowers there, and then there's another kind of posy bit there. And at the bottom, on either side of the house, there are two very, very tiny trees. What you can see on the back are some slightly brighter colours, although actually the colours on the front aren't too different. But you can see on the back there's some pinks in the flowers, and there's also some blues in the baskets. So there's not a massive difference between the back and the front, although there is a little. And as I said, she came to me wrapped around a piece of corrugated cardboard. Poor little love. Now, there's not much information to go on with her. And I had a look. I searched her name, looking for her to be born somewhere in the 1820s. Just because she stitched this in 1839, so even if she was born in 1829, that would only make her 10 when she stitched it. And I get the impression this is a little bit older than that. She would have had to have been a little bit older than that, maybe 13, 14, something like that. And throughout the 1820s, as far as I can tell, there were only two Sophia Staffords born. Let me get the name right, two Sophia Staffords born. One of them was in Northamptonshire, and the other one, I can't remember now, but I said to the person who I bought this from, did they have any more information? No, they didn't. They bought it from somebody else. And when I said to them I'd found two Sophia Staffords that I thought were possible candidates, and one was in Northamptonshire, they said quite possibly, because the person they bought it from buys a lot from that particular area. So it's a possibility We can never be 100% sure, but it's a distinct possibility. So very happy to have her, and obviously I need to do a little bit of work to try and stabilise her and find a frame for her, and obviously chart her at some point. I have started, for those of you who are on Instagram, I have started on Elizabeth's bird, which is on a piece of silk, and that's going quite well. So as soon as I've fully charted her and stitched her, I will let you see her. Right, haul. Oh, I have a little bag of haul here to show you. Mostly this is sort of Christmas time stuff. I don't know if you know of something called Quidco. Quidco is what they call a cashback website. So basically, if you're looking to buy something, if you go through the Quidco website and then onto the website that you're wanting to buy from, you get a percentage of your cash back. It doesn't cost you any more. It doesn't have any impact on you other than you're just channeling your business through their site and then on somewhere else. And so I've been on Quidco for years and years and years, and usually I can get a good few £100s a year out of this cashback website, particularly if you do things like when you look to change your insurance or your utilities. If you go through them, you can earn some really good cashback amounts from those providers. So yeah, I usually get a few £100s a year from them. And over Christmas they had a deal on where if you made, I think it was 7 purchases of £10 from any of their websites that they work with, you got an extra £30 in your account. Well, I'd already made, I think I only had to make 2 more before December the 31st. So I very quickly had a look in my Etsy wish list, picked out a couple of things and bought them, knowing that in a couple of months' time I'll get another £30 in my account, and that'll be fabulous. So let's have a look and see what I have got. Oops. So I couldn't not pick that one up from Mama Witch Cross Stitch. It's called Let It Snow, and I just love those sheep. I just love those sheep with that snowman in the kind of wreath that he's there with. I think that's brilliant. So I had to pick that one up. I'd mentioned these to you sometime in Flossmas, that I had my eye on these, and so I picked up the 2019 Satsuma Street Halloween ornaments. So this one's called House Guests, and these are very similar to the ones I've already got that I've done a couple of. One-Eyed Jack, Slither, I love that snake, I think that looks fabulous. And the last one is called Miss, oh, I can't even read backwards, Wise Guy, Wise Guy. So they come as a pack of 4. They come as a pack of 4, so I got those. And then I picked up another Snowflower Diaries chart because I loved stitching that red scissors chart that I finished sometime last year. So I picked up the Rose Bush. I absolutely love the combination of the teal blue or the soft blue and the red. So I can't wait to do that one. And then I love the fact that Staci Nash has got an Etsy site and you can buy lots of her patterns. I'm not going to say it's all of them, but a lot of her patterns there. So I had my eye on this one, which is called Farmhouse Sampler Pin Keep, Pin Disc, Scissor Fob and Needlebook. So it's just a little collection of accoutrements. And I'm obsessed with these little ovals. So that wouldn't take very much to stitch up. Now this one is from Carolyn Manning. I actually bought 2 from Carolyn Manning. And I saw this one stitched in a different colour. and it looked amazing. The person who had stitched this one, and I'm sorry I didn't note down where I'd seen it, they'd stitched it in the colour, but they'd stitched it on a piece of neutral, and instead of having a white line around the outside, they'd put a black line around the outside, and it looked amazing. It looked really, really lovely. And so it's called Bear Tracks. Now I bought this from Carolyn Manning's website, and her charts are so reasonably priced. So I just love that one. And then I've been looking at these for ages as well. I haven't printed out the whole chart, I've just printed out the cover photograph because I'm going to be using this in GoodNotes actually. I'll tell you about that in a minute. This is called Carnival, and I've ordered the floss that I needed for this, and I've got that to show you a bit later on. So these were two that I had for Christmas. This one now, they've done a great job of not putting, oh, Stitchering. This one's by Stitchering. Now I'm gonna have to put a picture up of this one because it's actually 3 nutcrackers stood in a line. And I think I want to do them on perforated paper and have them as big hanging nutcrackers. But yeah, Ness got me this one for Christmas. I had to send Chris a list of things to look through, and then Ness had a look through and see which one she wanted to pick out. I knew she would pick out this nutcracker thing because she's had a real thing for nutcrackers this year. So I'll put a proper picture of it up there, and I'll put links to all of these down below. And this one she chose as well, which is by Linen and Quartz Studio, and it's called 5 Cents Fortunes. 5 Cent Fortunes. So it says fortune telling, 5 cents, free with death certificate, which I thought was brilliant. So looking forward to doing that one. Now I picked up these two as well. These were on sale. These were some ridiculously affordable price. As I said to you before, I'm really careful with Etsy sites that have really affordable charts on, and I do make sure that when I go through that there's nothing that looks even remotely familiar, just because a lot of times the ones which aren't so careful with copyright, shall we say, just take a picture, run it through some kind of program, put it out there and charge really, really cheap prices for it. That's one of my things that I look for. But this is a digital chart. It is computer generated, but I didn't see anything on there that made me think that there was anything untoward. Now, this is by Noosa Creation. Noosa Creation. And it's owls. I really like that. Really like the colours in it. I really like the expressions on the owls' faces. Just all the different types of owls that are there. And some are very recognisable, like a great grey owl there. Got a snowy owl there. So I'm sure plenty of others. And this one as well, which I think is from the same place. Yeah, it is. I picked this one up at the same time as I was stitching the Caterpillar cross stitch Deck the Halls, and I was quite into those kind of bright, bold colours. And I picked this one up. I'm not going to do it on black. I think I'll do it on a neutral colour. But I just really liked that kind of folk art bird. So the reason I said that I was going to do GoodNotes, I have got myself a copy of the Whistle Stop Stitcher, Jennifer, the Whistle Stop Stitcher's new planner that she's brought out. So I bought it on Etsy, another one of my purchases that qualified for my extra £30 from Quidco. I'll put my Quidco link down below if anybody does want to have a look at it. And it's really good, really, really good. I've never used GoodNotes before. And so I've imported loads of my charts in there, and it's, especially if you buy charts from Etsy, it's really good. And I do everything on my phone, so it's really good at picking up the chart and putting it straight into GoodNotes. And you can mark off on the chart as you go. I very rarely do mark off as I go, but you can. I'm sure most of the world is more familiar with GoodNotes than I am. It's not like Pattern Keeper, where it keeps a note of how many stitches you've done and all that. It's just a way of kind of marking off where you are and keeping your digital charts in some kind of order. And so yeah, it's got all these brilliant sections. So it's got new starts, it's got a section for your whips, it's got calendars on there so that you can mark down what you've stitched. Because I love the idea of the needlework book, but if it's not right where I am, right when I need it, then it's not getting filled in. I'm terrible for that. So it had to be something that I could work on my phone. And I actually messaged Jen and said, look, I'm interested in this, but it's got to be something that I can just do on my phone. I can't be getting the laptop out or anything like that. It's got to be something I can just do 5 minutes after I finish stitching for the day, keep all my records. And I really like the fact that you can import photographs as well, so you can import what the chart cover image actually looks like. So when you've got a few whips, like I've got a few, I can actually look through and I can visually see what my whips are, rather than it being out of sight, out of mind. And I'm hoping that that's going to encourage me to go back and stitch on more of my whips more frequently, rather than being a little serial starter. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but I love my whips. I do love most of my whips. And I will do a whip parade. I will do a whip parade and a kit parade. I just need to get around to it. I'm hoping in the next week. That'll be something I can do. So yeah, if you haven't checked out her new planner, go and check it out on Etsy. You can also go onto her channel, because she's done a video, an actual walkthrough of using the planner and all the different features and all the things that you can do on there. And she's got one page on there for doing cross stitch challenges, which I don't do very often, but I do want to do the 24 hours of cross stitch weekends that are coming up this year. So I've already put in my calendar when those when those weekends are. I think there's 4 of them. So yeah, that'd be really fun to do, I think. What else is in that little bag? What else is in this little bag? I'll pick this one up, Spring Meadow by Scattered Seed Samplers. I got this one from eBay from Jeff P. Smith. So, as I said, I haven't got much springy stuff, but I do have an itchy nose. So I'm keen to do a few more spring things. I got some fabric from Wool Warehouse because I need to do a little bit of dyeing, or I want to do a little bit of dyeing. Nobody needs to do dyeing, but I want to do dyeing. Mostly just plain white, but I did pick up one of these. Now, I've never stitched on one of these before, but I have got a couple of Christmas charts that I've got from Teresa Kogat's Patreon. And I've told you before that I'm a member of Teresa Kogat's Patreon, and one of the things that she allows you to do, she gives you the code and a link to go on to previous Patreon charts, so before you were a member, and you can buy individual charts if you want to that aren't necessarily available everywhere yet or ever will be available. And there's a really nice Christmassy one, Be Merry, that I fancy, and so I thought I'd have a go with this. And I've seen people stitch on this and it always looks lovely, and I think it's definitely doable. The reason I say it's definitely doable is because I had a piece of Crystal Huntress by Picture This Plus, and I couldn't see the holes on it at all. And it didn't help having a brighter light because it just reflected back off of it, and it was literally stitching by braille. So I'm gonna have a go with this. You can just see a little bit of the sparkle there. So it's not huge, it's not massively sparkly, it is just a little bit sparkly. I did pick this one up from Wool Warehouse as well, actually because somebody emailed me about it and said had I seen it. So I'll look up the message and I'll put the sender down below. So thank you very much, because I've been eyeing this one up for a while. It's called Anglesey, and it is actually a bona fide reproduction sampler from Riverdrift. River drift charts are really lovely, and their kits are really lovely as well. I've done quite a few of them as samplers for my daughter, and then 2 for my friend's children as well. So this is actually an original sampler, a Welsh sampler, and I'm just trying to see on the bottom if it tells me this name of the stitcher. Catherine Jones, 1866. Now I've seen the original sampler to this, and her name is actually along the bottom there. So when the time comes, I may get a good photograph of the original and actually see if I can incorporate her name back into it, and any other information that's on there as well. I got lots of DMC for the Carolyn Manning Carnival, and also for a 12 Days of Christmas chart that is on the Silk app that Chrissy, Finally a Farm Girl, and I are going to stitch. I'm sure I told you about it before Christmas. I'll put a little picture of it up there. It is technically a full coverage, but I'm going to choose my fabric so that it's not a full coverage. And I've just grabbed the DMC for the first block, and there's sort of multiples that I would need for the border as well. And I want to do it on 36 count, so I'm going to do it on a 36 count, which is what one of these will get dyed for. If you've never been on the Wool Warehouse website for DMC, it's really good because you've got the option of selecting multiple colours. So you can click and say select multiple, and then you can just go through and you can put a tick in every box that you need and then upload them into your cart all in one go. Whereas other websites you have to sort of search by the number, add it, search the next number, add it. It can be a little bit more time consuming, but they've got a multi-buy option, so you can just put in whatever you want and then it uploads it to your cart in one go. It's dangerous. And then the other thing I got over Christmas was this Buttermilk Basins Ornament Extravaganza. So I've had some fun with the wool applique that I've done, and so I wanted to do some ornaments through the year, and there's some lovely ones in here. Like, I love those Santas. How lovely are those? And what was the other one that I really liked? There's gingerbread, there's little stockings, there's mittens, Christmas trees, Christmas jumpers. This is not helping me tell you. I liked those 3. The sewing snowmen. So he's got a cotton reel as a bobble hat, a thimble, and then a tomato. And he himself is actually a cotton reel. And they've got little scarves which are tape measures. The Santas again. I did like the little Christmas trees as well. So yeah, I picked that one up because I want to do a few more of those wool appliques. I think that's everything. So it's lovely to be back with you. So if you join me during Flossmas, this is kind of what happens from now on. Every Sunday morning we have a Sunday briefing, and I'm usually pretty good, usually regular. And yeah, just come along, join in, say hello, leave me a comment. I love all my subscribers, I love the people that watch. If you don't subscribe, then subscribe, please. And that's it from me because I'm waffling now. I'll see you next week. Stay classy, Stitchers.